Go. Hello and welcome to Weave the Tale. I am Ian. I am tasked here with the all too delicate mission of delivering a prequel as a finale. To catch up anyone who's not aware, we've been playing Blue Rose since I want to say January of this year, and we've been planning it for quite a while. This was the first West Marches I was ever a part of organizing. Essentially, we had 11 one-shots, 12 one-shots, and 12 including this one, each one with a cast of 5 players who had not yet appeared. All in all, that means we had something like 50 to 60 hands in the pot here, telling a story collaboratively. Anthony is the GM of the West Marches game that had just wrapped as of last week. And instead of touching on his narrative, I decided we'll take the focal point, which is Roamer's Rest, and tell a prequel story, which might be a disaster in terms of the plot holes I might sow here. But you know what? I'm here for it. We're gonna do some prophetic visions and some yes ands and see where we go. But I would like to introduce the cast before I talk about the setting, the sponsors, etc. So starting with Jacob.
Hi, my name is Jacob, and you can find me at watermosaic on Twitter or Instagram. I don't have anything else going on at the moment except this, so I'm happy to be here.
Right. And who are you playing?
Yes, I'm playing Nikolai. He has a last name. Nikolai Vidire, one of the roamers.
All right. Next up.
Hello.
With the wig.
With the wig.
Glorious.
Hello, I'm the dungeonmadame. I'm one of 2 dungeonmadames. The other one is also here. I have, together with my best friend, a Patreon where we create really cool Curse of Strahd themed maps and Ghosts of March maps. And I run a campaign on Twitch as well, up at Dire Rolls, and I play a lot of. I play in a game at home, and I run another Curse of Strahd game at home, and I really, really love D&D. And today I'll be playing Nikolai's sister, Valda, and I'll be a roamer as well, so it's going to be very interesting.
All right. Next, the other half of Dungeon Madames.
Yeah, indeed. I am Najadem, and thank you for inviting us. I'm super excited. I'm also running a Ghost of Saltmarsh campaign on the Dire Rolls Twitch. And like Cynthia mentioned, I'm the other half of the Dungeon-Madames. And today I'll be bringing Nima, a sea folk adept.
Beautiful. And yeah, I have to say, I'm pretty sure half of the West Marches campaign was directly influenced by the snowball effect of the idea of Roamer's Rest becoming a map for Roamer's Rest, and then becoming the focal point for the West Marches. It all kickstarted with basically joining that Patreon. So go ahead and join it. I dropped the link. Stuff is absolutely fantastic, in my opinion. And I'm gonna gush more about it later, but until then, we're gonna keep going, or I'm gonna get off track.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's really nice.
Second to last, but second to not least.
Hi folks, I am zwethbee. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram as @zwethbee, and here on Twitch as Zweth. I am currently on hiatus because real life is getting in the way of the fun, but we do all sorts there. A bit of gaming, but mainly craft. The project that will be starting up when I come back is basically redoing a whole dollhouse in a very witchy theme. And we do TTRPG design as well. So yeah, drop a follow, and then I will be back hopefully soon when real life gets a little bit less busy. Oh, and I'm playing Kaia, who is they are a sea folk, but they have been on land for some time now, working as in diplomacy, being sort of talking with the local towns and making sure everybody gets along.
Perfect. And I'm sure everyone will get along today. No conflict. Last but not least.
Hi. I'm Casa, wilding _ on Twitter and wilding _ Twitch on Twitch. I'm trying to write adventures and just put my foot into this amazing community. Really, it's been so beyond my imagination. And I'm playing a Rycat, who I actually realized wasn't a humanoid cat, but like an actual cat. So yeah, we're doing a whole Puss in Boots situation here. And she's a bit direct, but overall some good fun, and I can't wait to look into this adventure with everyone. So thank you for having me.
Fantastic. It is great to have you all for the last show of this season. Actually, we had like over 100 different live streams, and I think this is going to be a fantastic capstone. We start at the beginning, and before I talk about what's at the beginning for this Blue Rose story, I want to just thank our sponsors. The season is over, so I think we really just have to shout out the one. We have Crucible. We run a one-shot of their 5th edition magazine content. It comes out digitally and on Foundry. For more information, just go ahead and visit that link if it works. I might have to yell at chatbot a little bit to wake it up, but yeah. So I guess each one of you, for different reasons, possesses the ability to scry, or is otherwise gifted with divination magic of some sort. This story started a long time ago with the mythology of roamers, the differing tales of their origin story, and their equally divided beliefs and opinions on where they can call home, and what they value as a community. Roamers has not necessarily struggled with an identity, but if you were to try to identify them by any rigid means, I think you would have a hard time. It's long been believed that roamers were once part of a single caravan. This can be backed up using history. It can be backed up using archaeology. Whether or not it is the end-all be-all for the roamers kind of remains to be seen, though. Long ago, the one great roamer caravan did split up, and it's believed to be connected to several things: urbanization, the advent of cities, agriculture can no longer support that big of a caravan rolling through any one place without causing a major disruption. But for the most part, things have become relatively stable for roamers as they explore the world with many, many different caravans, anywhere from like 1 to 15 families in size. The majority of them really just being like 3 to maybe 8 families. This caravan, however, seems to be, as fate would have it, centered around Nikolai and Valdamerca here. You two have been having visions, I believe, as have, I imagine, a few other roamers. But I want to know, on the day that you're approached, you've been told that people from Aldis are coming to visit, and you don't really know why. what would you be doing on a day of travel as you set up camp for the day? Start with Nikolai.
Well, Nikolai, just to introduce him, is a broad man, mid-20s, slightly less than shoulder length, brown hair, and he has slung over his back a woodsman's axe, a big blade, and he's a rock. He would be a rock, except he has in his hands a tremor, but it is not impacting his day-to-day life too much. He would bring the horses to water after taking them off of the carriages, and he would start to basically get the carriages set up for a stay for a few days in this place while we go about our business. And then after that, probably see to if Valda needs some help with making the place hospitable to non-roamers who would come here.
Yeah. And Nima, you are with the caravan as well, is that correct?
Yes, I am with
Okay.
the caravan.
Got it. So, your sea folk lineage, does that lend itself to any tendencies around water, or are you pretty much like your fellow roamers? Meaning, if he's looking for a place to bring the horses to water, would you be involved in that? Would you help with that?
Oh yeah, definitely. And I would probably, well, take a bit of a soak myself.
Okay. Excellent. So you two are there while the horses rest. It's actually quite hot outside today. We're looking at early summer, so you do want to avoid the sun during these hours. So a shady stream would be a perfect place to take some rest. Valda, you know that Nikolai and Nima are leading the horses to water. What would you be doing in preparation of these visitors?
First, let me introduce my character. So, Valda is currently standing in what looks to be a little bit of a clearing, as all of the wagons are positioned in a circular, almost half-moon manner next to the road. And her bright grey eyes are looking up into the sky, just gauging how the weather would act during the night. And despite the summer sun, the color of a cloudy summer's day, her hair is like in the colors of a pale pastel meadow, and it's braided in plaits of various thickness, and there's like these beads and coins and trinkets and colorful threads all woven throughout it. And she even wears like a dozen of colorful bangles around her wrists and ankles, and as she walks barefooted over this clearing, she's got a very thoughtful look in her eyes. She sees that most of the wagons are set up. The women and children are getting ready to get the kids all together to go to bed. The men are still busy with putting up tents and doing the heavy work of staking the herrings into the ground. And she will seek out Nikolai, as she is clearly, visibly worried about this message that they had received earlier that day on their way to Aldis. That ambassadors from Aldis were going to visit them. And that was not a custom. Normally, when people of the city want to speak to them, it's often bad news.
Yeah.
So she approaches Nikolai and she says, like, Brother, what do you think of the message that we received earlier today? I am worried that we will be sent away.
I should hope not. It's I think is probably nothing to worry about. I have hope, that they don't want to just harass us, and maybe I don't know. Maybe there were some other roamers here, and there was something happened or something, and they want to check in. You know how sometimes they're
It is the
suspicious.
last stop of our people, though. And most of our cousins will be arriving in the next few hours or days as well. It's going to be quite an event.
Yes, it may be with so many of us here, it's good to talk with them and say, perhaps, perhaps you can leave us alone for a few days, and then we move on.
I just always thought Aldis was different. They were welcoming of our people for many years now. I don't know.
Well,
I have a bad feeling about this, Nikolai. Such a bad feeling. And you know my
No.
feelings. They're often
I know,
confirmed by the truth.
I had also dreams.
You did?
Yes. Not clear, but old,
Old.
dark.
You have to tell me this, brother. Maybe I could have divined something more of it. We could have known more. Oh, just I don't know what to expect of this.
Well, I'm sure whatever comes, as always, we will find our way through, and we will not let them bully us,
That is true. Well, the only good thing of the next few days is that you are going to see your honeys again. As she just walks
Yes.
off with a really cheeky smile.
And Nikolai, for all of the strong and sort of rock-like facade that he has, he blushes quite pink.
Nima, you're in this water. There are a bunch of horses. I imagine at least a dozen of them being led to this water right now. And you're in this body very close by. What do you look like?
Yeah, you see a figure just laying in the water, legs and arms spread out. And she's kind of, really enjoying finally being in water again. You see that her body is covered with turquoise scales, just a hint of purple shimmering through. And she has these external gills protruding from the side of her head through her purple hair, and kind of like ears, I would say. And her top and her skirt are adorned with all kinds of small river stones and shells and flowers. And she put it on the bank of the side of the little lake, or is it a lake where we are?
It's sort of like a pond. Yeah, it's very small. Had to go searching for it.
Yeah, so she put some of her stuff at the side of the pond. Among it is a large fish's backbone that she uses to defend herself on her journey if need be. And she's a bit of a free spirit, and she has not been with the caravan for long. And the time that she has been with them, she has been skipping besides them and asking a lot of questions, sometimes a bit too much, just kept on chatting and finding out as much as she can about these wonderful people that she just met a little while back.
All right. Well, I think we'll make the first skill check of the night. I say that when it's midday outside for me, but Go ahead. I need the equivalent of a perception check, whatever that is. I played too many systems.
I
I
have
get confused.
perception hearing, but I also have just straight perception.
Let's do hearing.
Right. First
What can we do
check.
Yeah, so I think you have a +4 to this.
Ooh.
Oh, it's cut off just a bit. Yeah, so you have. Wow, that's really good. Okay.
She's got an
so I
SP
think
now.
Stunt points work for like the regular checks as well, or
so there are
is that a
non-combat
combat
stunt
thing?
points. You can use stunt points outside of combat, I think.
There are arcane stunts.
Maybe not.
I see intensity stunts.
Yeah, but that's
Yeah, I'm not
like
sure
a
if those are
7 cost. No, I don't think you can. But I hear perfectly.
Yeah, so there's somebody approaching, but they're walking through the river or the stream that leads to this pond. It's like they're wading through it, and you hear chopping, like a sword cutting through vines. Loud steps.
Does it sound like it's nearby?
Yeah, somebody's approaching the pond just out of your line of sight. But you hear the whoosh of a blade cutting through vines, maybe branches.
Hey, who's there? And why would you do that? What did those plants do to you?
Now, pardon? You hear just steps approaching you. Nikolai, Valda, you heard both voices.
Valda is immediately on edge, and she is beelining towards Nikolai and making sure that he's hearing it too. And at the same time, she's alerting the men of the camp to be aware. And she does that just by whistling like a swallow. That's the sign.
And Nikolai will move
Going
toward
to
the noise.
Okay. Some of the people from the camp will descend to move to speak with you. They don't seem particularly alarmed when you say that, but they'll come. Rounding the bend of this stream, a man from Aldis, maybe in his 40s, red hair, a sort of mutton mustache. For some reason, it seemed this man had an aversion to his own facial hair, but only on his chin, because everything else is growing out quite wildly. He's hacking away at overgrowth that bends over this stream, no more offensively than his own beard, but you imagine he has a bunch of red hair. It's bound up in a hat that shades his face, save for his nose, which is slightly burnt due to his pale skin and the heat of the summer. He's walking in a sort of equivalent of waders, something to keep his feet dry. It looks like he's familiar with traveling along paths like this. This terrain is slightly jungly, but still overall pretty temperate. He does arrive, though. Are you above? Like, are you standing in the water? Or are you swimming?
I was kind of, yeah, I am swimming, but as he approaches, I'll kind of peek up a little and I'll say to him, "That was a perfectly well bush."
Yes, but one can't trust that even the slightest scratch would create an infection. The bank will be fine. It should regrow. This is fertile land, after all. Introductions. You must be the roamers. I'm Murios. and he'll just sort of extend a hand from even 15 feet away as he approaches to try to shake it. This is very proper Aldean man.
I'll kind of copy him and also raise my hand as I wade towards him. And I'll be like, well, I'm Nima. I'm not sure if I'm a roamer yet. I am roaming at the moment. I'm roaming with the roamers, if that's what you mean. But, well, anyway, I'm rambling. Hello, Nima. And I'll shake his hand.
Nima. Well, who would be these roamers to tell you whether or not you are or aren't among them? I would speak with them.
That would be us. And
Yes.
me, like I have like a little hand in the small of Nikolai's back, and we step forwards.
Hello.
Murios steps onto the dry land, plopping wet feet up until he can shake both of your hands. The name is Murios Cormil. I'm from the Preservation Society of Aldis.
You are from the Preservation Society?
What
Yes.
is the Preservation Society?
Perhaps we have some things to deal with, you see. And you see there are roamers, your friends from camp. They're headed down to speak to both of you. They seem concerned about this person. Do you continue to speak with him, or do you address your friends that want to talk?
I'm a little bit confused. So our friends that want to talk with us and are concerned about this person, is that because we whistled everyone to be alert, or?
Yeah, so when you whistled the alert, a couple of your friends up at the camp made the trek down. They started heading towards you. And the look that they shoot you tells you that they recognize the person you're speaking to.
Oh, and they still are on edge after I see them recognizing him?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Perhaps we can show you proper hospitality and invite you for a cup of tea.
Yes, that would be grand. You see, I received no such hospitality only moments ago. They told me I would find you this way, and that sent me down here.
From the campsite.
Yes, I spoke with a Simon.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Please
I just
excuse
shoot a look
our
into
cousin.
Nikolai's direction. Very telling.
Nikolai says, please excuse our cousin. It is not often that we have a delegation from our neighbors to come and greet us when we arrive, and oftentimes when there is one, it is not a pleasant interaction, so some people can be a little suspicious. Please, we would like to show you hospitality. Can we offer you tea?
Yes.
And I'll start leading him toward the wagons.
Righto. And back up we go. I will have you know I'm traveling with a couple of my own companions. They should be around here somewhere. I'm going to ask Darcy and Kaia. You've traveled with Murios Cormil, who is this prim and proper Aldean man, to this camp. But I wanted to ask you both, if you were traveling with him, where would you be, assuming he arrived at the camp and they told him basically to go piss off? Would you have tried to stay near the camp? Would you have followed along in the river? Would you go somewhere else?
We didn't tell him to piss off, did we?
No. Well, Simon did.
Oh,
Simon
now
says.
I understand. So he went to Simon's camp, and then I get it. I was like trying to figure it out. It's like, no, we're welcoming, don't distrustful.
Yeah, so Darcy, Kaia, and Murios went to the camp, and Simon said, we don't want you here. Murios understands that must not be the case, so he decided to find somebody else who would accept him. He heard commotion, saw the horses, went down to the water to see if the leadership would accept him rather than whoever Simon is. Kaia, I imagine, would you have gone with him down to the river?
Yeah, so I imagine that probably throughout this journey, Kaia is almost always a little bit behind Murius, sort of trying to smooth over whatever ruckus he might have left in his wake, inadvertently, I'm sure. But sort of trying to diplomatically smooth over anything, he might have ruffled. So I imagine, they would be following, but probably a little bit behind, probably after talking with Simon a little bit and giving some apologies and things. So I imagine probably not long after Murius arrives, Kaia would probably come follow up behind, and I'll give you a little character description. So Kaia is a sea folk also. They have very like sea foamy skin and scales with eyes of the same color. They are incredibly waif-like. They do not seem to have much muscle on them at all. But in spite of that, seem like they might be able to move quite quick if needed. They have really long, wavy hair, and seem they're in good shape, but quite old. They have with them a staff that clearly has that, so they're dressed very well. Clearly looking good is important, but not in a vain sense, in a way that it's important to show respect when you meet people and be dressed well, make a good impression. And they have with them, notably, sort of a staff, a stave that seems to have like coral almost on it, and as well as their normal canteen, they've got like a clear, big thing of water on their belt that has got various undersea plant life sort of growing in it. They keep close to them.
Yeah. This
and
would
so
be
they'll
interesting
come
for
up-
Nima, as she's also down there by the water.
Yeah, so Kaia will follow up behind Murius and say, greetings. I hope my colleague has done well in introducing us. We don't mean to intrude, but it would be wonderful to talk with you if you'll have us.
Nima will scoop up her giant backbone and sling it over her shoulder. And then she kind of skips next to you. She's like, oh, that's so smart. You carry so much water. I should maybe consider that. And she is looking at her belt and already envisioning where she could put some extra additions.
Indeed, it is quite helpful. If you want to sort one, I'll happily give you some of the plant life I've been growing. I mean, it makes me feel much at home.
Oh, wow. And she'll be all over it and inspecting all your little bubbles and plants that
Kai
you're
will take it off
carrying.
and like give it to you to be like, please feel free.
Is this an eastern water lily? Those are super rare.
Oh yes, I've been nurturing it for many years.
Where did you get it? Like in a cave or far away? Or she will just ramble on. It will be hard to even get your answer between her questions.
Kaya will absolutely not interrupt. She will politely be involved in everything. Yeah.
It's perfect. But if you two head up with the other roamers and Murios, they'll head over to the camp to figure out why Simon turned him away so quickly.
Perhaps as well at
um,
this point, might I maybe look around and ask and say, we had, have you seen our other companion? They were right here behind us. I must have lost track of them.
If that's me. So when Simon turned us away, I guess I would have been quite far back and stayed away from Mirius and Kaia as they went to the other camp where they met, where they are now. And what you see stepping out of the bushes is like a mountain lion-sized cat with like black-tipped ears and black paws and like white fur and whiskers. And she kind of just pads out and walks up behind them. So it seems like there's some kind of issue here that needs resolving, and then turns to one of the roamers and asks, would you know why your friend was so rude to us earlier?
I feel the psychic connection of this Rycat. You are talking about Simon, that they turned you away.
If
Well,
that's his name, I don't know.
It is. I would want to say that he lacks some manners, but then again, I would speak ill of his mother, and his mother was delightful. So, honestly, I can't speak for him, but you are welcome here, as long as you are welcoming to us.
That is really great to hear. My name is Darcy, and yours?
I'm Valdamerca, but you can just call me Valda.
Valda. Lovely name.
I've seen many rye beasts on my travels, but never one with such an impeccable fur, so nicely kept as yours.
Ooh. So she's really taken back by the compliment, so she kind of licks her paw. Oh, that's so lovely. I love your hair. It's beautiful.
Ah, thank you. Well, let's continue on. Would you like some milk whilst others drink tea, or do you enjoy tea yourself?
I wouldn't mind some milk or anything stronger.
Anything
Whatever you've
stronger.
got.
Stronger.
I like it.
We can do stronger.
We can definitely do stronger. We have a moonshine that glimmers like the shine of your fur. And it probably makes you cough as much too.
Yeah, that sounds delightful. Let's move somewhere more comfortable then.
All right.
We get
I
to...
did.
We get to the camp, I guess, and
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
there's like the wagons, these beautifully brightly colored and painted wagons with very interesting woodwork designs on them. Each wagon is unique for a different family, and some of the families are there taking out tables and chairs and setting up for some sort of meal and relaxation after a long day's travel. And Valda's wagon and Nikolai's wagon are kind of parked next to each other, and they create this little courtyard area in between the wagons. And so it's very simple for Nikolai to pull out a couple of stools and a small folding table and to set up a pot of water to boil.
That said, I have like my wagon. Valda's wagon is in deep cerulean colors with the night sky painted on it, whereas Nikolai's wagon is this techno-color sun with bright colors, and it's opposite of it. It's like night and day together. And Valda just disappears into her wagon and comes out with this silver platter that is just filled with all kinds of different loose teas and tea eggs and a very beautiful clay pot. And she just sets it down on the table that Nikolai just placed on the ground, and it's like we're in sync psychically, whereas every time he puts something, I put it on top of it, and then he puts hot water into the teapot as I lift up the lid. So that's kind of how we are making tea extremely efficiently.
I love that. This sense of synchronization and harmony might be somewhat broken by the presence of Simon. Simon is a recurring character in the chapters of your lives, but never, ever in a wholly pleasant way. The aid that your cousin offers never comes without a cost. And while he isn't necessarily the antagonist in your story, it seems he's always providing conflict, even sometimes just for amusement. You have a sneaking suspicion this might be one of those moments, because it's not like the roamer to turn away company necessarily, unless they believe there to be suspicion. And people from Aldis generally aren't suspicious characters. So you hear a rapping on the side of the wagon. He normally takes his sword hilt to tap it on the wood, just to let you know that he's making his way around to the front door. Nikolai, Valda, Nima, Kaia, and now Darcy, you all join Murios in this wagon. You're getting tea arranged. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's like in between the wagons outside.
Oh, okay, yeah. So
Yeah.
coming around into the clearing.
Yeah.
That's essentially like the way that you would knock. These caravan-bound families are usually so close-knit that privacy is really more just like a warning, like, hey, I'll be here in a bit. So instead of saying I'm coming over, you have 4 seconds of warning. Hence the rapping on the side of this wagon. But turning the corner, it's, I mean, they look a lot like you, save for long, shiny black hair, cut into bangs, gold hoop earrings, and a black goatee. Always with that slight scowl of his. Simon. Good morning, Nikolai.
Simon.
Fate
Shall I set you
would have it
a cup of tea as well?
Please. Yes.
Would that be to go? I mean the tea.
Would it? I have nothing else for today.
Please,
leading
Valda,
such a
if Simon
large-
has come, if Simon has come to greet our guests who have joined us today and listen to what they have to say, then he is certainly welcome. And there's that sort of flash of like, let's not make a scene in front of the strangers.
She just like
Mm.
sits back on the other side. She doesn't like being told off by her brother, but she's biting her tongue.
Nikolai knows
Nima
at this
is
moment
not.
he's
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Nikolai knows in this moment he's used his grace for the day. Now everything
Okay.
else that he does today has to be like to Valda's agreement.
You know
Probably
what?
for the best.
I think I'm just going to nip inside and see if we still have some milk for the cat. And she does so.
Follow her. Yeah. I'll just trail behind her. Go to if that's all right.
You see her stiffen up just for a moment as she feels that you're following her. And then you hear in your mind as she's speaking towards you, if you let her, I will tell you now, you are allowed to come into my wagon, but I would not recommend following anyone inside their wagon. It is a private space. Ask for permission first.
Definitely.
So you did
she'll
not
hear
know?
this back in her.
So you did not do anything wrong. But you are welcome in my home.
Thank you. I was just curious to see what it would look like on the inside. The outside is beautiful.
Thank you. I painted it myself.
Did you? I was just gonna ask that. Wow. Are you an artist then? As well?
I would not say I'm an artist, but I appreciate art.
Hmm.
You should really check out my bed. And then as you get inside, it's a very small space. And you see there's like a little cabinet on one side. There are windows that are kind of like portholes, the circular and the carved to be decorated very crudely, but someone did it very patiently, but not with a lot of experience, to have like little stars around it and like a full moon that goes and descends into slices of moons. So everything seems to be very astral themed, astrology themed inside, and there's no place to sit except for on a very floofy carpet that is hand knotted and a very shiny, very soft bed that is at one end. And it's just like a bed, a little bit of space to stand, a little bit of a kitchen area, like a kitchenette, and a big trunk that one could sit in that is probably holding most of her worldly possessions. And she looks through the cabinets for some milk.
And as she's doing that, I'll no, first I'll ask, is it all right if I go on the carpet? It seems so soft.
Oh, you can choose the carpet or the bed. Feel free. Both are very nice to sit on. And what would you
when you
like to
say-
drink out of? A cup or a bowl?
A bowl would be easiest, thank you. And then she kind of leaps onto the bed and curls around.
Now, would you be able from the bed to see what is happening outside as you look through the window? I'm very curious, but I don't want them seeing me looking.
Mm-hmm. I'll look out the window. What do I see? Are they talking? Or...
Yeah. Nikolai, Nima, Kaia, Simon and Murios are having a discussion. Basically, Murios explains that he's here on behalf of Aldis, a institution funded by the government to preserve the history of the various pre-Aldis civilizations that contributed to its creation. Murios explains that they're here because they found something and they needed to consult with roamers first. You notice once he's mentioned this, Darcy, Kaia, you notice Nikolai reacts to this news, I imagine, as if to understand what he might be talking about. And Simon gets a little bit frustrated again. And Simon looks at Nikolai. Would you have a guess as to what he's referring to, cousin?
If you mean the story of the broken wagon, then perhaps this is an old resting place of our people. Mr. Murios. We have a long history of coming here. Nobody knows who the original roamer was who came here and stayed here, but it is a place that is of importance to our people. I'm not the storyteller that my sister is, but when our people broke up from the it is there are many stories that we have. When our people
he's gonna
go ahead,
lean closer, but it looks like your cousin wants to interject.
Simon,
leaning forward. A wise choice. Thank you, cousin. The myth of the Roamer's Rest. Well, a suitable legend would explain it as this. Long ago, a roamer decided to choose his own fate, not the fate given to him by his people. He removed the wheels from his wagon and settled to a land permanently. This is only a fable. I don't know what you found, Mr. Cornmeal, and all respect to you and yours, as he looks at Kaia. If you found a broken wagon in one of your dig sites, that's something for you to reconcile, not us. That story is legend. Besides, Aldean, roamer like we know wood rots. It wouldn't be there by now. The story's ancient.
Stories may be ancient, but visions happen today. So, Simon, perhaps it is interesting. As you know, our family has the gift of sight, and we have seen things.
And if I may, as Murius said, though we are here on behalf of Aldis, at least what is important to me is that we are here on behalf of you. You will indulge me. When I first came to land, I met with some roamers, and for many years we traveled together. I was blessed to learn a lot about your ways. And I know that stories run deep. And it felt to me important that this came to you. I just wish you to know we're here with best intentions. We would be pleased to help find what this place could mean for you. And she's sort of looking fairly directly at Simon, trying to sort of be a bit reassuring.
Nikolai will ask at this moment. He has been working over something, and he just asks, have you been digging here in our campsite? Or is it nearby?
Yes, you see, well, it was the understanding of our institution that the roamers do not truly have a resting place or land. Am I incorrect? You have the idea of rest, but roamer's rest is not a tangible place. When you put your dead to rest, you bring them, their remains, the ashes, to the water, and from there, rest. All bodies connected. So the way we saw it before the digging was this was merely remains of a campsite. Only upon further research we realized we might be tampering with roamer land, if such a thing exists. Simon looks offended when Murios says this, but what do you do?
Nikolai kind of puts a hand up to sort of to Simon to say, like, relax. And he says, of course, we will have to consult our own records, our history, our oral history. But to be frank, our views on ownership, of course, are different from perhaps how Aldis views ownership. But this land that we sit on now, I have come here since I was a child, to this very campsite. Over and over, my father and my mother camped here, my grandmother camped here. What does ownership mean in this case when we have been here for, as a family, as a clan, for generations and generations? And it's not just that we bring our dead to the water. There are specific places that are sacred, gates, if you will, into the afterlife, the next life. If we were to bury a roamer on land, they would stop roaming, and in the water they can flow forever. But here, for example, it's a historic place for us. So I don't know how to say if we own or don't own exactly. I have to consult with the stories and the history. That is not for just the one voice of myself to make, and it is not for us to understand with you here at the moment, if you follow. But there is something meaningful here for us, and it is perhaps important.
Yes.
Would I have been listening with Darcy to this a little bit?
Yeah, I think Darcy taking pause to observe this conversation would give you that opportunity.
But I think also, would I not know that that's what Marius wanted to do? because I came with him and Kaia, right?
Yeah, so you and Kaia, Darcy and Kaia both know exactly what Murius is here to do, which is to bring roamers to the site where he's digging to decide whether or not this is land rightfully owned by roamers. He brought you here to help deal with the complexity of that topic, because roamers don't typically own land that isn't moving. They have wagons, they stay on the roads, but they don't own land. And Aldis says if they want to own this piece of land, they're going to need a deed to it. It's a mess, and he's trying to figure out what to do. So that's why he brought you two here to help figure out who it belongs to,
So,
essentially.
I'm with Darcy in my home, and I hand her a bowl. I have my own bowl of milk as well. And I look at her, and telepathically I start a conversation with her, because we can hear just the conversation outside. And I know from myself and Darcy, you can see how tense and angry I get with every time Simon speaks. And that I'm probably distancing myself from that conversation outside, but I am very curious. So I ask you, what do you know about this site? Have you seen it yourself? What are you trying to accomplish here? Are you trying to get one of us to see it? What is it that you want?
That is what we want, really, is the confirmation that we can keep going with what we're doing.
By digging it
right
up?
now, yeah, I think it's a bit retrospective in that sense, a bit too late since they've already dug it up, but I guess the kingdom wants to seem to be compassionate about all of its subjects, so we are here to see if anyone has objections, or if they can actually provide some evidence that you own it and would want us to stop. Although it's a bit silly now that they've already dug it up, but I wasn't the one digging, so...
It would be a very complicated issue. We Romans, it is in our name, we do not own. We roam the lands. Even after death, we continue to roam. As we are laid to rest and roam within the rivers. And it is specifically this place, these lands within this radius, where we put our recently deceased in the rivers, so their spirit may roam, and they may continue to see the world from which we received a sight. That is at least what our family's legacy is. And we have one such ceremony coming up, as our elder, the eldest of our clan, my grandmother, has recently died.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, but...
Don't be. She continues to roam without the pain and ailments in her bones now. It is a joyous occasion.
It's true. But playing devil's advocate, I think the kingdom knows your stance on the issue. They know you can't provide anything. So in a sense, us being here might just be a formality, since we know that you can't show us anything to stop us from doing it.
And if we can't stop you, our sacred place will probably be removed. And things will be built on these lands we are now camping on. That is a terrible sight.
Yeah. I mean, other people would think it's land that isn't being used, right? But I see where you're coming from, and I'm only here on orders, but if I was here alone, I definitely would be on your side. licks her milk.
It is such a silly thing, isn't it? To find something only useful when it is actively being used in a tangible way, but never consider even the possibility of the worth of a land without a use. We don't use things or abuse them. We roam. We are not like that man who destroyed the way to carry his way forward into our camp. We travel the roads and have paid before us, and we try to leave places better than we arrived.
You sound very admirable, and I honestly don't know how I would help you. But there
Well-
must be something. Maybe you could pretend you had a deed. They don't know what the deed looks like, right? Maybe just whip up something, put a stamp on it. Who knows? Maybe your grandmother wrote it, and no one can tell now because she's gone.
I don't think a single roamer in my entire lifetime and beyond has ever owned land. It would be against everything we believe in. However, I did have a dream right before I came here. It was unsettling, a warning. Dark clouds and a single light, something piercing through watery ways. It was vague, but I feel me and my brother, and perhaps with you as well, as your fur is like the moonlight. We should visit this cave. And the women that walk the water like it's their home, they should come along too. I feel that is right. It is correct. I think that is what my dream
And
meant.
that's what we'll do. That's what we'll do.
I think you are the messenger of the moon. I feel it. Now let us enjoy the milk and hope my brother will piss my cousin off.
That's a great point because I believe they currently are. While this is happening, I guess I want to ask Kaia to recap, because there is a lot going on. You're essentially here with Mirios and Darcy to make sure what's going on is ethical as well as legal in Aldis. Some people care more about it being legal. Some people care more about it being ethical. You do notice there's a seal among these roamers. Sort of, what is your take? What is your mission here right now?
So I think where we sort of paused the conversation, there was this tension of what was happening with the place and how it didn't fit in with what the roamers did. So I guess in response to this, we sort of cut back to outside. Kaia will sort of sigh and look at Nikolai, saying, I understand that. The ways of the roamers are different from that of Aldis, and we do not wish you to change them. But I am here to help us work in harmony. We all have our own traditions and cultures, ones that we have to keep close with us. For example, myself, I always carry a piece of home with me, and I sort of gesture to the bottle that Nima has of mine. This keeps my traditions and my homes with me, but allows me to work alongside others. I do not wish to disrupt your way of life and your culture. I merely hope that we can find a way for us to be in harmony. I understand it's hard to ask of you to take a place and claim it as your own, but I think that this, as a gesture of us being aware that things are different and coming to a compromise, I hope this will be something that we can work together, and I'm here to help you with that in any way that I can. It reminds me of when I traveled with the Romans many, many years ago, the way that you adapt as the seasons move and as the places change. Hopefully this is something that you will consider, but please remember we are not asking you to change what is dear to you. I would not let that happen.
What would be
One thing.
necessary to find out which should belong to? I mean, is it papers you're looking for? Is it evidence? Is it a good story? I mean, I like a good story.
For me, it's mainly to your decision as to whether you think this is a place that you would like preserving. There is then paperwork and things that would need to go along with that, but like I say, that's merely formality to have it in writing, something that is of the culture of Aldis. But to start with, it would be if you were willing to come and see the site.
I see no harm in
I
that.
would love to see the site. I've never seen it.
I'm very interested for any stories that the place may have from you as roamers.
So now or when?
So, if I want to psychic contact Kaia, maybe I had done that in the past, right, Kaia? So we're on consent. So I'll send a message, seeing the talks get a bit settled in, and I'll ask, so what are they saying? Do they want to go? Will we go soon?
I will respond back psychically and say they seem open to visiting. Hopefully soon. And then I guess I'll say out loud, whenever you are ready, as Murius has said, there has been some work that has occurred there already, and I'm of slight worry that perhaps the message will not get through for them to not continue until we arrive. So, if possible, the sooner the better, but I'm aware we've just turned up unannounced.
Well, then I suppose I was not doing anything too important this afternoon. I will shout for Valda and then turn to Simon and say, Simon, if you are interested in coming on this excursion, of course you may, or perhaps the camp needs some oversight in continuing to set up.
You know,
This is a
many
myth for you
take
anyway.
this badly. It is a myth for many.
It does no harm to look at old stories.
No, it's fascinating. I mean, don't you think it's frustrating when you hear all those stories and you're not sure which one is true? I think we have to unravel it.
Dear
Who
Nikolai,
knows what secrets?
dear Nikolai, I believe Simon is just very scared of what he might see, since he is a blind man without the sight. You know, seeing the truth sometimes hurts.
You shouldn't force people that are scared. Maybe you just let them stay here, take care of the camp, and let all the adventurers and the courageous and the brave actually get stuff done.
Very much so. I believe Darcy knows what she's talking about.
Does Darcy make a connection to everyone? Can we all hear her? Or...
Oh, I said that out loud, but because I think
Yeah,
it came
so,
out
yeah,
of the
telepathically.
wagon.
Yeah.
The Wycats can only communicate telepathically.
So it
Oh,
would be a to whom it may
okay,
concern. I think you can speak telepathically.
Yeah.
I believe. So you can speak to everyone you can see.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you
Okay.
don't have to do the jaw
That makes
movements. And yeah, the bonded one.
Even
Well.
a goldfish can now speak to you telepathically if they're a rye fish.
What?
I think so. Yeah.
Simon looks to Nima. Do you believe it's true? A settlement
Well,
for roamers.
well, I'm pretty new here, so... but I would love to find out your history. I mean, you're lovely, lovely people in the present, so I can only, well, hope and wish to meet any of your ancestors in any kind of way. If it's through story or drawings or, I don't know, what else could there be?
Nima, Simon is testing you. He would argue that if a roamer settles, then they stop becoming a roamer, and they are no longer our kin.
That sounds a bit nearsighted, doesn't it?
Yes, it is.
It's a way of looking at the world from the rolling wagon.
But it's not only that, Nikolai. It's also being quite narrow-minded. That land
Simon's
can
walked away.
only be a settlement. Nothing.
So,
Just
would that
I
mean
hate
that
it
when I
when
left
people
my
walk
swamp...
away. Which she says after she walked away multiple times today.
That's great. So, when I left my swamp, would I then not be family with my family in the swamp because I don't live there anymore? That just doesn't make any sense.
I quite like that comparison. It's very apt.
I would use a different comparison. If you stopped to like water.
Well,
Would you
it would
still
be
be of
hard
your
to
people?
stop to like water. I mean, I would dry up.
And how
Eventually,
can a
I
roamer
guess.
stop moving?
They would dry up.
Would they?
This
I
is the
would.
question.
Oh, so we'll find Simon has moved to speak with a few people, trying to get an in with the people that he knows will be against your plans, if only to sow division and bolster his own social capital in this moment. I want to ask, do we have any plans before we head out? Is there anything that you wish to do in this camp? Any of the visitors?
I had one suggestion. I actually came outside holding my deck of cards. I say to the people. Now, I've actually already laid a card without your knowledge, Darcy, and I already mentioned it to you. You were the moon in my visions, and I actually laid it. But I was wondering, maybe we get some insight before we go to this cave, to go on this adventure, and see what the deck will speak for each of you.
Sounds like a plan.
I would be
I can
honored.
tell you more about what the moon means, if you wish.
Please do.
Totally looking it up, that's why my face is completely white right now.
Hey.
I thought the deck was just glowing with
Enlightenment.
magical
Yeah.
energy.
Glowing, yeah, with magical energy.
Arcane luminance.
Exactly.
So the moon card that I laid for you, it means you will face illusion, fear, anxiety, some subconscious intuition. You maybe want to overcome it, or you have to face it. But it shows a full moon in the night sky, positioned between two large towers. It is a symbol of intuition, of dreams, of the unconscious. Its light is dim compared to the sun, and only slightly illuminates the path to a higher consciousness, widening between these two towers. It sometimes symbolizes two choices. It's a path between two choices. And as you can see on this card, is a small pool representing the watery subconscious mind. A small animal crawls out of the pool, symbolizing the early stages of a consciousness unfolding. And there is a dog and a wolf as well. They are howling at the moon, representing both the tamed and the wild aspects of our minds, of your mind. So whatever this means to you on this adventure that we face, keep it in mind. I feel that you must face a choice between the wild and the tamed aspects of your soul.
Kaia will come over to Valda and is sort of beaming and will say, you know, goodness, I'm all full of nostalgia today, but when I left the Wanderers, my final card read to me was the moon. I was unsure of whether to go or to stay, and this was the decision that was made. It was hard, but what was wonderful was I knew that I would, no matter where we went, I would always be connected. We would always look at the same moon. But I feel I have to ask. You're my old friends wondering. I wonder if you knew them. And actually, I meant to ask, do you already have a name for your grandmother? Because Kaia will say the name of your grandmother. And say, we travelled once, a long time ago. I've not seen her for long, but I've always felt a connection with her. Does she roam with you?
Oh, I must really... I am sorry, but your friend Papusa Vidira, she passed. We are here to let her roam forever. The ceremony would have been in the morrow.
Oh. Well, then...
I am her granddaughter, and Nikolai, the grandson.
Yeah, I see it now. Now you say, I see the same eyes. Well, then I suppose this was wonderful a time for me to end up here.
Kaia, you
Well,
should
was
pick a card.
Wonderful. Yes,
New
if you
card.
would.
You wish to have a card?
Mm-hmm.
I could. Get you a card. It is the Six of Chalices. Let me look into my site. It's called Google.
It's the vision.
It's the vision. And you see me lit up.
It's Google instead of Google.
Since I pulled it upright, the Six of Cups means revisiting the past, childhood memories, innocent joy. In this card, a young boy leans down and passes a cup filled with flowers through a younger girl. And the girl looks up to the boy with love and respect as he offers the flowers to her. It is about love, harmony, and cooperation, all key elements of this card. It shines through this gentle act. These young children represent these childhood memories. But in the background, you see that an older man walks away into the distance, as if to say you no longer need to worry about adult issues. Just enjoy the moment of being young, innocent, and free again. The children also appear to be standing in a courtyard of a large home, and it symbolizes comfort, safety, and security. I feel that this card tells you, very fittingly, that you are revisiting your past. And maybe you will see some childhood memories again. And if this place, that which you are taking us to, is everything it is in our myths and legends, then it will be that gives us visions of our past. So whatever we may see, keep in mind that gentle act, that cup of innocence, of joy, when you face harsher things still. Nima.
Oh, let us go visit our past.
What did you say, Nikolai?
And let us go visit our past.
Let us, yes.
Ooh, but me next. I want to know my card.
You want to know your card too?
Read them. Well, we
Read
can
them
do walking if you like.
We can. All right, I'll do one. Last one. Nikolai has already tired of me reading his cards all the time. And every time I pull the deck, it's always the sun.
Is it really?
Not always.
Sometimes it's the lovers. Sometimes it's... Yes.
This morning it was the lovers.
Oh, and
Ooh,
now
what
we
does
know
that
why.
mean?
It seems a few people have been talking about Nikolai lately, I will add, as you shuffle.
It is the 8 of staves. And as I'm getting the vision, please continue talking.
Oh, what does it mean?
Um,
I don't think I've seen that one yet.
So, yeah, Nikolai, you do see Simon is about 200-300 feet away, talking with a few family leaders and more prominent figures, those who have, traveled the world about as many times as you. they seem troubled by the news. Of course, Simon must be delivering it in the least favorable way possible you could imagine. But you see Darius speaking with him and staring daggers at you, even from this far away.
I will go over to them.
Okay. We won't get into what is said here because we're in the middle of a reading, but it will confirm in part why the lovers was Valda's draw this morning.
All right.
And maybe why you took it upon yourself to lead those horses to water, if that helped you avoid certain people. But go ahead.
The Eight of Wands. It means quick action. It means receiving news, gaining momentum, exciting times. It is the element of fire, the opposite of what you really are, because you are all of water. It's a connection to love. It's time to put things into high gear. Some situations require a slow and steady pace, but it is not the case when the Eight of Wands is in play. Positive energy and a desire to move things along are about to take hold. Things that you've hoped for are going to manifest much sooner than you think. But the best thing about it is that movement, travel, and exciting projects are in store for those who are visited by the Eight of Wands. It often shows up when visitors are coming or have visited. Enthusiasm and other feelings will probably appear as well. So if you're feeling stuck or on a plateau in any area of your life, things are about to turn. But be wary, because if it's for love, a whirlwind romance is headed your way. And if it's for adventure, you might get more than you bargained for.
Well, I'm willing to take the risk. What are we waiting for?
And that's it.
So,
I'll take the cards with me, just in case.
All right. Yeah, I mean, we could take... are we only taking one wagon, or are we going to head out with a couple?
Are we taking the wagons? Because I would think that if we are visiting a cavern, that we would just take a horse and leave the wagons in the camp.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it
yeah, I
far?
mean, it's not too far. I mean, Aldis is... it is about a day's travel, and you're actually traveling to the outskirts of town. And it's believed a cavern must be nearby, according to your myth. Basically, when they found out this could be the rest, they were like, oh, well, Romer's Rest had a cave. So instead of digging for this cave, why don't we just make people find the cave? So we don't have to dig all the way down. Or at least that's what they're telling you. So if you want, you can take one of these wagons. It's about a day's travel to get to Aldis, but you're going to be right on the outskirts of town, near some farmland.
Well, if
Can't we
it's a
just
day's
swim?
travel, we would just take one person's wagon so that we can have all the bedrolls and food and supplies with us.
Yeah.
I just gotta
I
say,
can set my
Bonsai is
wagon
looking so
in.
comfortable right now.
Yeah, you need
Love
some
that.
stretching.
Nikolai
right,
will
actually,
prepare his
yeah.
wagon for
Oh,
travel
sorry.
and for extra guests.
Perfect. Yeah, double
So we're
wide.
taking two
Pocket.
wagons?
Nikolai's wagon, and I think that's enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, one's fine. All right. Well, I guess what we'll do now is we will head off with our little band of adventurers to Aldis. We're going to cut to break. Let's do about 10 minutes so we can stretch and prep. And when we get back, we're going to check out this site. So stick around. We'll be about 10 minutes. are back. We set off for a day trip to Aldis. It will take about 24 hours, so we have traveling all day just after midday. Then we rest, then we come back. But where I'm going to pick up, the 5 of you are in a tavern, and one that is quite busy. I don't know how long it's been since any of you have last been in a tavern, but this isn't any that you would recognize, even from everywhere you've each traveled. This place is packed, and it's packed with very contradicting events happening in sync. You have people indulging in high tea, you have some people gambling, you have performers on a stage telling stories, you have people dancing, you have people getting kicked out, you have people invited in, various rye creatures as well, or rye people, I should say. But the 5 of you are sort of seated around in a round table. There's tea, there's food, there's coffee, and all sorts of like pastries and fruits at your table, and you're only about 15 feet away from a bar that's packed full of people from all walks of life. If this is confusing to any of you, feel free to voice that to your friends that you've met recently. But essentially, I'm providing no explanation. So what do you do?
I'm eating
Nikolai
pastries.
finishes pouring tea.
Yeah.
And
Pastries
after
would
a
go great
minute,
with the tea.
yes, the floral smell of this is like no tea that I know. And then there's a moment where he realizes that this is weird, and he sets the teapot down and he looks directly to Valda. Where are we?
I don't know. Normally, I recognize from the way people dress, but these clothes are not like anything I've seen before. The colors are so vibrant. How do you think they made that? I don't know any berry that can produce a red like that.
Nikolai
You
points
could also
to
use
like
gemstones.
gemstones, yes. I heard in one place they use a crushed up beetle in a faraway
In
land
Aldis?
from here.
They can use crush beat. I don't
Aldis.
know.
So, Darcy, Kaia, you're from Aldis. You have never seen this tavern.
Yeah, so Kaia is holding a cup of tea and she slowly places this down and is like, I would not drink anything other than water, and this does not seem like Aldis. This is not Aldis.
The last thing I remember is that we were going to Aldis. You were taking us to a place. We were traveling. I just pulled a card for 3 of you. I still have the cards with me.
Maybe this is on the way, and
On the
can
way.
Darcy like get out and try and look out a window or something? Like if there's a from her seat.
Yeah. So if you want to look out the window, this is the
Or,
strange thing
like,
because what you see is, you see Aldis. You see the skyline. It's built on a hill, inconvenient as it was, but it really is this like shining city That's what you see, though. Right outside the window. You're on the outskirts of town.
Maybe this is a hidden gem, something no one knows about. We just found it on the way, luckily.
I have lived in Aldis
Like a
for decades.
secret?
I know every... No, I know every place. This is not... This can't be. And I sort
Maybe
of will
it's
join
new.
Darcy at the window.
Yeah.
In a few
See?
days, I'm not sure.
Is this the only building that is extra? Or are there more places you do not recognize?
Can I have a look at the skyline? Does it look exactly like I would expect it to?
Yeah, so we can make a check. This isn't hearing based, so it's just your +2. But make that
Okay.
make a perception check.
Just the normal one.
Yes.
That one?
Yep.
I was gonna say, can we help her? Since I'm by the window,
looks...
or I can do one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, you do one as well. But then, Nikolai. Why don't we make a check? Or actually, anybody else that is an adept.
Can I use my second sight to sense
Yes.
the use and effects of Arcana?
Oh, I don't see anything. I'm just eating these pastries. My perception's +3, but still. Go ahead. Oh, but you had the stump points, so maybe we can use those?
So you have determination. You can use the determination if you wanted to re-roll that. So I think you got a 13, which isn't bad.
So I want to use the second sight. I can sense the use and lingering effects of Arcana. I can make a second sight test to detect Arcana and use in my vicinity, to sense an attempt at psychic contact, or to detect and read the signature left behind by Arcana.
So you...
the base target number is 11.
Keen. Yeah, you feel reminded instantly of what's going on. Sometimes a shared vision does this. It puts you in the perspective of someone who isn't aware of the vision. And sometimes it happens with shared visions, so it doesn't become too overwhelming. You limit what you know and what you see. And for that, you sort of emulate a consciousness, and it allows you to perceive things like you're there. Because if you were to perceive everything at the same time, it would be overwhelming. You wouldn't be able to learn anything from it. And you're now realizing that you're seeing a vision. And you're with your friends here. They're also seeing this vision.
Well, I'm holding a cup of tea in one hand and a cup of water in the other. And I'll pour the cup of water over my head. And not aware yet of the vision, I'll get up and look around for the most colorful person I can see around here.
There is a roamer woman wearing very vibrant garbs. The shiniest of jewelry. And a very, very pleasant gaze.
I'll move over to them. Well, hello, good day. I seem not to remember how I ended up here. Would you be so kind to tell me where we are? Oh, I'm Nima, by the way.
The woman, she has white hair in the front that sort of curls out. She's wearing headdress like you would see with roamers. There's a lot of gold jewelry, a lot of reds and a lot of purples, and it's that very vibrant color. She has her own cards, and it's obvious she's a seer as well. And she's engaging in this vision. She just stares at you. Hello, I'm Theodora.
It's
Our
nice to meet you. You look wonderful.
I thank you, but you. Looking down at her cards, and shuffling them away before you could see them. You know, I best be off. And she'll get up, she'll move away into a door. As she opens it, you see a staircase on the other side. But she shuts the door behind her, just sort of scurrying off immediately at your presence. What do you do?
I'll turn back to my companions and I'll ask, was I being inappropriate? Was I being too direct again? People say I can do that sometimes.
Not at all, dear Nima. I believe that we are currently in a vision. And the fact that you were able to converse with her, it means she might be of interest. Whatever we are seeing right now, I believe since our friends Darcy and Kaia do not recognize this place and they are from Aldis, this place is in the future. I suggest we follow this woman. What was her name?
What was her name?
Theodora?
Theodora.
Theodora. Yeah. Nima would remember this.
Nikolai. What do you think?
I feel myself on edge, to be honest. Looking around, is there anything recognizable in here that is linked to any other visions that I may have had in the past?
You've actually had, now that you're thinking about it, you've had many visions of a place like this. But only fragments and only bits and pieces. You know it's in Aldis.
And
you
the
see
colors in here, are so vibrant also, right? Like the rugs on the floor and hangings on the walls and the table coverings.
Yeah.
Valda, that table there is... Maybe I'm seeing things, but it looks almost like the colors of my wagon. I think we should follow this woman.
It is not only the colors of your wagon, it almost is like you decorated this place. Did you dream this
perhaps a
up,
bit
brother?
too much. I have seen pieces of this before, but no, this is a bit beyond my... I am not a decorator, you know?
You
It's
do
not
yourself
mine.
short, brother. Your wagon is one of the most artful decorated pieces in our clan. But maybe we are not in a vision of the future. Maybe we are in a dream of yours.
That's fascinating.
You think I dream of an inn? We should follow this woman. let's not rest on my dreams.
Maybe it's my
Well,
dream.
let's follow
I
this
would dream
woman.
of an inn.
Well, Nikolai, let's follow this woman of your dream. After you.
I fall into step next to Nima, by the way, and sort of lean over to say, you know, you remind me ever so much of me when I was young. Never let that curiosity go. And then, like, there's a little wink. Which is probably like the biggest break of my
chuckles a bit.
professionalism so far.
Oh, let's find out what's happening here, right? And I'll follow behind.
And me.
Yeah, and while Darcy follows, she probably heard that it's a vision, right? So she's kind of just jumping from table to table and like just kind of making a mess, because if it's not real, then they'll just be like messing about.
That's awesome.
Somewhere in the future, cups and plates are being knocked off of tables by an invisible force.
I mean,
Cups are being slowly moved closer and closer to the edge, and when you go no, it just gets pushed off the edge.
amazing.
So Nikolai heads for the door, I guess, followed by all these other people.
Yeah.
So, you imagine the door would lead to a basement. As you open it, it opens out. But when you open it, you see forest and farmland on the other side. No stairs that were once there. And slowly the walls begin to dissolve. Everything that fills the spaces between wooden supports melts away first. All the decor, all the upholstery, everything, until you just have a wooden frame. Then it too begins to fall apart. The majority of it, maybe 4/5 of all of the lumber dissolving into the air, save for about that last 20%. It looks like scrap wood. And you know, some cloth. It's like you've salvaged what's left of this building just a bit, as it all sort of falls onto this site. Two things you notice. One, a lot of this wood is engraved, as if it's been hand carved. And two, among some of this salvage of what's mysteriously, I mean, this whole place is dissolved. It's a 2-story building with a basement, and it's all just sort of melted away, save for pieces of wood, and 4 wheels. But these all sink into the ground. They sort of ghost into the earth below. And what's dissolved, what's left, is you're on the outskirts of Aldis. It's midday, and you're now coming back to consciousness, to full realization that you, your sister, and your friends, you've shared a vision. What must be the future of this place. But you're now at this dig site. All of you, and you fully come to. What do you do?
I look around. Do I see the woman, Theodora, anywhere?
Are we here already?
Yeah, she's nowhere to be found. And yeah, now things are starting to catch up. You remember the full journey. It was surprisingly uneventful. You just traveled until you saw Aldis in the distance. You followed Aldis until you got here. Then you engaged in a vision to see, you know, what all the fuss was about. But in order to share that vision, you had to forego your recent memory to fully immerse yourself. But the woman is not here. Murios is here with the excavation team. and essentially they're just digging up small holes, looking for more fragments.
Do we recognize this site in general? Have we been here before? Roamers?
Yeah, so this has been used a few times as a camp. You felt enough wood here, but for the last few generations in the building of Aldis, for the last few centuries, it's been used less and less because it's becoming. It's no longer the camp outside the city; it's the camp right on the edge of the city. So it's not even like you're not. You might as well just visit Aldis at this point.
Kaia, I think you looked out the window, right? At the place where we just kind of went. Looking over to the city, is it the same place?
This seems the spot. This seems the place. Yeah. Yes.
So maybe us being here showed us just a little vision of something that could be, that will be, that should be, I don't know.
Who's against a nice tavern, But is that, maybe that's what they want to do with the place. That must be what they want to do with it. So Darcy's gonna look around. Does she see anything out of the ordinary?
Yeah, a few paces away, one of the excavators has pulled up another piece. It looks to be some sort of metal fitting, maybe brass and iron, and Murios is examining it with an eyepiece.
So Murios, what is to see here, and what also is the plan for this site?
Yes,
What's
well,
that you found?
suppose you have a say in this. And he'll hand you the fitting, Nikolai. If you want to make a sort of maybe a cunning check of some sort to identify what you're looking at.
Is this like intelligence or perception?
Yeah. I'd say intelligence.
Oh dear. Okay.
Yeah. Just to make this hard on you.
Here we go.
Can
Just a
I
straight roll.
use my psychic talents to give him a boost?
Like a help action?
Ooh,
No.
yeah.
Like, I don't know, just give him like a bit of arcane electricity, and then just like a magical pepper.
Yeah, you can cheat. Tell him what you. Yeah, just tell her what you see, and then.
All right, I'll roll it. Not
Ooh.
great. Not great.
Oh, but
but I got stunt points.
Three threes, yeah, that's three
Three
stunt
threes.
points.
3 3. So we can do it.
I know.
looks
Is there a stunt point I can use on
All
this?
threes, that's a lot.
With your mark. Advantageous positioning. Efficient search.
Efficient search. Is that a thing?
If resources of any kind are typically consumed in the course of your first test. Oh no, that's not it. Right.
Well, Valda.
Oh, that makes me wonder.
Ooh, but I could use
immediately make
setup.
another perception test.
I don't hear you. What?
Who?
What'd you say, Nikolai?
I said I could use set up. I don't know. It's a combat move, but it gives an opening that for an ally, and I could use that to give Valda a chance.
You know what?
Yeah.
If that's the case, then I will put my hand over Nikolai's hand and use psychic contact again. But this time I do it at the same time by opening also a telepathic bond with my brother. So that we share it.
Yeah, go ahead.
All psychic contact. No, it was what was again? Second sight again. That was the one I meant. Second sight. That's 11. The base target number is 11.
And then +2 from my setup.
And then a +2 from your setup. That would make it a 13.
Okay, so that's good. That was
With
the
an
number I
outcome
was
of 2 or more, I know the exact economy used.
Yeah, so, Nikolai, you, through this, you understand that this is a part of the, like, the underbelly of a wagon. This is, without a doubt, something that would have lasted even long after the wood would have decayed. So if a wagon was here, and they say that they found some pieces, this is evidence that it would absolutely belong to a roamer.
Yes, Mirios, this is part of the suspension from a wagon. You can come and see on mine. This is an almost identical part. I think this one is much older make. They have to be replaced from time to time, but of course, you know, any wagon could come and stay here, but ours are built for long distance, and so they have a particular weight to them.
Yes. This confirms the initial suspicions. Now, there's one piece of the puzzle that is missing yet. Opening up a journal and flipping through some notes. It's this like handmade paper, so it's very rough. You can only fit like maybe 80 pages on this thing, and it's already very fat. He's flipping through, and he stops. Now, Romer's Rest, according to legend, had a body of water, be it a river or a stream, even a brook, and I see no flowing water here at all. Worse yet, no evidence that one could be had. Lake Vash is, well, there are no tributaries, no streams, nothing nearby. Even hundreds of years ago, I doubt there would be flowing water here, so this proves puzzling.
Would I know of any water nearby this place? I would imagine maybe my people would map out water to make it easier to travel around.
Yeah, so what I will say is the other sea elf here in this group would know about the local water to a very granular level and in great detail. So I would ask, it would be wise to speak with Kaia about this. Kaia, you know that there are many dolphins inhabiting Lake Vash near Aldis. They're, however, very troublesome to deal with. They engage in petty crime. They enjoy smuggling for money as well as for sport. And overall, they don't like dealing with authorities that much. So if they know about any water nearby, perhaps they could lead you to it. There's not anything known.
So I will sort of come over and say, you know, having travelled many seaways myself, it is quite common for landfolk to forget that much of the water travels below ground. Perhaps there's something there. I don't know of any, but I do know of nearby the lake. There's some inhabitants there. If anyone would know any waterways that come past here, or did in the past, it would be them. I wouldn't write off so soon that there was nothing here. Perhaps we can go and inquire with them.
Who are they? Are they nice? Are they like friends?
I would say acquaintances. We do not have too many common interests, but that does not mean we cannot get along. How far is the travel to the lake?
Not far. It would like definitely less than an hour to get there.
Okay. Do you think
Before
that
we
Can't you all
go-
just stop digging in the meantime? I mean, we're kind of on an investigation here now, right?
Yes, certainly. Snapping his fingers, the digging stops. Would this mean we believe this site would be the Roamer's Rest? Yes?
As much as this is a story that we do not know if it is true or not, it matches with some of our myths, some of our shared history. What have you found here, aside from these small pieces? Have you found any sort of more clearer components? What made you think that this could be connected to us in the first place?
Yes. Well, looking around in his tools near his own camp, he produces like a rolled up. It sort of looks like a bedroll. When he unrolls it, it's strapped in a number of like fragments, artifacts, things that are protected from the elements, things just sort of tied to this thick mat, pulling from the restraint. Produced a fragment of wood that's carved, and in the carving, and on the backside, you see flecks of paint. And what you see are, you see some gold, you see purples, you see reds. It is an artistic style that you would immediately associate with roamers. And curiously, it's also something you've seen in your vision recently.
This is something that our people would make, of course. Valda, look.
I see it. It is hard to think about the consequences these fights could mean. I'm still trying to wrap my head around the shared vision we had of ours. And there was this song of old, of the river crossing, currents running deep, And the river's depths are hidden. That is what we must seek. I can't remember all the words of it, but I think it might be a smart idea to look for answers before we get more questions.
I have a question, Valda. I know you are not such a fan of this idea that the roamers had at one point that there were roamers that they had taken the wheels off, so they say. What if it is true? What if this is a land that our people claimed? What would you think we should do? Without our grandmother anymore, some of this guidance is left to us to figure out. Is this even worth to uncover? Or should we just walk away?
I would have probably said to walk away.
It's history. I mean, don't you want to know the whole story?
As Nima
Sometimes
said.
history can be dangerous.
And you. I would have walked away. But not today. Not after the things we've seen. If it was only a site uncovered of a man, just a single person in history that took the wheels of their wagon to rest for the remainder of their life, then no, it would have been of no consequence, no interest, no reason to keep digging. However, the site has called us and has given us visions of a time not our own. There's an urgency behind each thing we've seen and uncovered and held. And I believe that our ancestors are asking us to listen. So before we have the entire story, I do not think we should make decisions yet. Let our hearts speak, not our heads. And that is a difficult thing for me to do because seriously, I would walk away. I do not like danger. You know, even the simplest breeze could just break my bones. But for now, let's keep digging for the truth.
I trust your wisdom.
Well, wisdom. I wouldn't really say it's wisdom. I'm just regurgitating what our grandmother would used to say, you know. And that's about it. I miss her.
You know, wisdom passed on is still wisdom as long as you're willing to listen to it.
Very much. That is our sight. It is wisdom passed on, each of our ancestors that have passed on to the afterlife, still giving us their sight.
Something your grandmother taught me most was patience to listen to others. Take the time to understand where they are and what drives
Maybe
them
my
to
grandmother
wander.
should have told me that as well. Oh, I'm sorry, I did it again.
No, I think your grandmother just taught you exactly the right thing, Nima, because if we all listened, no one would talk.
I guess that's true.
Suddenly,
You feel a kind of soggy arm around her shoulders, and she leans in. And about the danger. I mean, we'll watch each other's backs, right? And she kind of pats the backbone.
no problem.
Slung over
Why
her shoulder.
Why don't you take the front and tell us where to go next? I believe your direction now. Because it's water we seek. So why not follow those who know water best?
Well, actually, and I kind of pats in front, there were rumors about an underwater smuggling ring that was happening around this area. So if we need to get in, they should have a hideout somewhere close by. We could sneak in or just scope it out and...
Kaia will smile and look back at everyone and say, exactly. Like I say, we did not have many common interests, but as we've said, listening and being open is important. Hopefully, they will speak to us, and sneaking in won't be necessary.
You know.
So do we head to the lake?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. To water we return. It does begin to rain, and Lake Vash kind of swallows the city. It breaks line of sight just a little bit. Aldis is sort of a beacon in that it sits on a hill, and as long as you can see the castle in the center, you know where you need to be. But as soon as you break that line of sight, you feel kind of away from everything. That's sort of been the charm of all this. It's not very hard to get away and feel separate from it. To note, though, there's already farmland dotting the outskirts of what you can see, and that sense of escaping is less and less present by the day. And you really saw this in your vision as well. I mean, it was little inns and shops kind of as far as the eye could see, and it was kind of concerning. But yeah, you reach this lake, and Darcy, you know exactly who you're looking for here, but you might not spot them first. Nima and Kaia, you're probably really good at seeing things inside the water. And the sort of like spray of loose water indicates that there's a dolphin nearby. It would be only a moment later that a rye dolphin face appears at the edge of this lake, glaring angrily. Are you lost?
Oh, hi!
Hi. You lost?
We're exactly where we need to be.
Sure, yeah. Oh, we're not lost.
As soon as the dolphin...
We're not lost.
As soon as the dolphin sees Darcy, they say, you know, I just forgot. I'm mighty busy right now. Gotta go. And just kind of, just like dives into the water.
I think at this, Kaia is just gonna basically head straight to the water and dive in.
Can I,
okay.
before he goes, cast suggestion on the dolphin?
Ooh, okay, yeah.
Because as soon as I see him recognizing Darcy, and then, oh, Jesus, I think I have to go. I want to cast suggestion on him because I'm getting impatient. And then I just say, I suggest you stay around and help us. And you see my eyes are just getting dark for a second. So I just click on suggestion. Alright.
Ooh, okay.
We'll see.
If you want to ensure your success here, you could use a determination to reroll the 1.
Yeah, I'll do that. So how do I do that?
Just roll a d6 in roll 20, and then it'll spend one of your determination. Okay, yeah. I mean, 14 is better than 13.
It is actually a suggestion as in a post-test.
Oh, okay.
An especially
And you do
reasonable
have
sounding
you
suggestion
do have
may
2
grant...
stun points now.
Sorry, what?
You do have 2 stun points now, right?
Yeah. I will add the stun points to it. And an especially reasonable sounding suggestion may grant my test a bonus of 1 or 2 at the narrator's discretion.
Got it. Okay. I will roll the post test. Yeah, you win this one.
Yeah.
Nervously, the rye dolphin resurfaces. Okay, all right. I'm not outrunning yous. Look,
So,
whatever they said, it isn't mine.
Well, I sure hope not. We're in search of a river.
Well, congratulations, you found a lake instead.
No. We are looking for an underground river.
How do you know
Right
about
at
that?
its-
Wait, I mean, it doesn't exist.
Well, I believe that you
can't.
can help us. Just for a second, my
Rome
eyes
without me.
just flash dark again, and I'm trying to intimidate him. Or would you like me to coerce you a little more?
I'll like
Nikolai, you
extend
noticed
my
this,
claws.
Sorry, what did you say?
Nikolai, you noticed the eyes darkening, and that is something noticeable for later. But the dolphin. All right. Look, if we're real quiet about what we see down there, sure, we can work something out. But well, we're not going to the town with what we find, right?
No, of course not. Do I look like I come from town?
I wouldn't say so. All right. You all breathe air, don't you? Can you hold your breath?
We can.
How long?
Yes.
For how long? Yeah.
It's gonna be a while.
We could bring a barrel with us and breathe in the barrel as we travel under.
I could also
Don't you dare.
try and make us move a little quicker through the water.
as
You
could
are
I.
capable?
Oh, I can try. It works for me. I've never tried it on like a whole group, but I guess I would be able to.
It's the buddy system.
I think you can do anything, Nima. You are quite powerful.
So I will start casting water shaping, and I would like to try and use shape flow to redirect the water and the flow of the water to kind of help the party to move quicker.
Body full of adapts.
All right.
So cool.
Listen, I'm only doing this because you're Romans, right? We go way back. But if anybody knows about this place, whew, it'll be bad. Dolphin
secret
glares at Darcy again.
I
Is it
just
though?
make eye contact with Nikolai as he says we go way back, and I'm just looking at him questioningly, like, do you know more?
Nikolai just does this. Shrug. No. Fine, friend. Fine, dolphin friend. You have a name.
Yeah, they really just call me Red.
Red.
That's the name I've been given. It's the one I choose. You know, Dolphin just sort of stares at Nikolai. That Roma looked a lot like you.
What Roma?
Nah, I'm not a snitch. Anyway, come on. Let's go. And just dives
Come on.
deep into the water.
Let's swim. And I hand out for anyone that might need assistance swimming.
Ian,
Ooh.
I'm gonna need
I need to make a corruption test, but I don't know how.
Would that have been something we all noticed?
We're gonna
by the way,
meet
the darkening of the eyes.
So the dolphin seems to know something about Darcy. And Darcy is kind of a mainstay in like the rye community of Aldis. So they could go back a bit, but you don't know. You've always had your suspicions about Darcy as a socialite in Aldis. But who knows? She seemed to know where these smugglers were. That's something.
I will swim over to Darcy then if she's got in the water.
Oh yeah. So we're just...
Yeah, and I will say, what aren't you telling me?
Isn't there so much? Perhaps we should deal with one problem before we move on to the next. One step at a time. We can have a talk over dinner or something.
I will grab your paw then and pull you underwater.
Yeah, so I guess Nikolai will take his heavy stuff off and leave it on the bank there, like kind of hidden in a bush, and go in as well.
I rolled a 13 on my water shaping test.
Okay. Yeah, so we sort of create a current. Nima, you'll have to be the first to follow Red, the ironically very blue dolphin. And as you follow along, very absent-mindedly tells you a story, just bits and pieces. Something about business operations in Aldis, what he does for a living, his boss putting him up to the most menial tasks. But he mentions something that sort of catches your attention, and it's when he's talking about the way things used to be. You see, once upon a time, all I needed to do was keep a little route going, check on this, check on that, check on the sacred spot, check on the edge of the river, check on the docks. Boom. That would be my day. It's not like that anymore. There's so much going on. It's like we're moving material every other day now. But what do? You know they're making this new toxin, bringing it in from the sea. It's made out of pufferfish.
Sorry to interrupt.
I'll tell you, it is a good time. Yeah?
Speak of a sacred spot.
No, I didn't. When?
Just
I'm
now.
pretty sure you
A
did.
moment ago.
Interesting.
I heard
Yeah,
you
did I do that
speak
again?
Mm-hmm.
I could make you do it again with a little bit more explanation.
All right, real quick, because I'm walking myself into a trap here, and I don't even know how to walk. If you're a roamer, touch your nose. Looking around in the water as you're heading into like a cave opening.
Well, I'm not sure if I'm a roamer yet. I'm roaming at the moment, but we've
You
just been
are a
roaming for
roamer,
a little bit
Nima.
with them, so...
If a roamer says you're a roamer, you're a roamer.
Not just any roamer. Me and Nikolai here, we are the leaders of the Vidira clan.
All right, Kaia, plug their ears. Just sort of like gesturing over to Darcy.
She's an honorary roamer. She used to roam with my grandmother.
Don't worry, I will ensure that she does nothing untoward with the information. Promise.
All right, I'm telling you this, divulging at a great risk. If this, what I've said, reaches any other creature with a blowhole, I'll lose mine, if you know what I mean. So, long time ago, pretty immeasurably long ago, we met some people. Okay? They dig a well. And, well, that punctures a hole in one of our sacred little spots. Well, we become real good friends with these people. And I think you know what kind of people I'm talking about. Your people. Next thing you know, a couple generations pass. A campsite becomes a fixture. A fixture becomes a bit of a celebrated spot, if you know what I mean. They're ritualistic. Not unlike us awakened. Maybe it's better if I just show you. We're almost there anyway. And just sort of darts ahead. It's completely dark and we're underwater. It's been a few hundred feet of this. Do we have anything we wish to say to each other before we continue on?
Is there any pockets of air? I feel like this is quite a distance for the humans among us.
So Kaia was going to go back to the humans, and use her enhancement. So basically, take them both by the hand if they will let her, and sort of like, I guess, squeeze it, and there's like almost bluish light, and I can enhance an ability in the hopes that will help them swim a bit faster. So like strength should help them maybe move a bit quicker, or swim a bit quicker to the shore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
We're like speed jetting through the water now.
So let's do it.
Yeah, let's make those.
Constitution, stamina checks.
Let's say it is Constitution. Let's say it's Constitution, but you're enhancing their Constitution, which is what the ability to swim would be based on, because it's a combination of heart rate, athleticism, and breath work, all kind of working in unison there. There are a couple air pockets you've noticed.
I forget what I have to roll. It's willpower, isn't it? I think. Willpower. Yeah. Okay.
If it is a spell, there's like a little dice in the spell description that you can use.
Oh, there is, but I don't know if that.
It depends on if you want to help a person or yourself. But if you want to enhance a person by touch, it's healing.
And then,
so I think it's willpower healing for this.
Yeah.
I need to make a willpower check to see for the corruption.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. Just so you know, I'm going to roll for that now.
Uh-oh.
That is a
failure.
failure.
You have a good willpower.
I do, but it is a failure. Oh, it's an 11.
Yeah, Nikolai.
Would that
Does
make
an
it?
11 succeed?
You also still have one of those, what are they called again? The 3 blue dice that we have? Determination.
The TN is, if it's a minor transgression, then the number I needed to make was 11. If it is a significant transgression, like deliberately hurtful, then it would be a 13. Major transgression, that would be murder, that would be a 17.
Okay, so you make it actually.
Yeah.
With 11, it was, yeah.
I think it's a minor transgression. It wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
Can't
Yeah.
be worse. I haven't done
Nikolai
murder yet.
did notice that phenomenon, however. I will point out.
Mm.
But yeah, Kaia, you help them swim along. Let's do Nikolai and Valda. Let's do those checks for swimming. So it'll be Constitution.
I have a focus and stamina with Constitution. Can I use that?
Yeah. Yeah, if we're just skipping some air pockets and going as fast as possible. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Or trying to help Valda.
Yeah.
Drowning.
Woo!
Uh-oh.
Oh, I got 5 stunt points also.
Oh.
If you could... If you get higher than a 16, then you have enough push there to get Valda and yourself to the other side.
Well,
but
I got
that would mean
exactly a
spending
16.
determination. Yeah, so that would mean spending a determination on the 2.
On the 2, okay, and then I just roll 1d6.
Yep.
It's another 2.
Oh, no.
So you don't have enough.
Can I use my stunt points in any way? I got 5 of them.
I think you can increase the outcome with them, right? Yeah, increase the
wanna
outcome
say
of your
yes.
arcanum by 1 per stunt point spent to
It's
a
not
maximum of 4.
Arcana, though.
Oh, okay. Oh, right. Yeah.
I have a plan, but it's a last ditch plan, so I'd rather not use it unless someone can
Gonna
save
say-
me.
Could I just gesture to Nima, and like say let's help, and then maybe we can take like an arm over our shoulder each, and if Nima and I swim basically as fast as we can, pull Valda with us.
Well, yeah, I guess if she would notice it, Nima would probably try to redirect the flow towards an air pocket so that she could breathe before going the length of the journey.
Kaia will happily assist in the swimming.
Yeah. Let's see.
I also haven't rolled for swimming yet, and I'm probably gonna drown because my constitution is
Oh
negative,
no.
and I'm a cat.
You're a cat. I forgot you were a cat.
Already getting in the water, like Kaia pulling me down. I was like, oh. Hissing as I went down. No.
Oh, I see. Okay, I have role-playing stunts.
Oh, I could
No, so
use
they are.
passionate inspiration. My emotions flare and I'm inspired to a brief act of daring or greatness. Gain +1 bonus to my next action with a further +1 for every additional 2 stunt points spent.
It'll be
There
more
it
than
is.
16 of them. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, that's exactly what I was looking for. Nikolai, save your sister.
Yeah,
We'll-
okay,
then we'll
so
go to the
I would
cat.
roll the stamina again, I would take another very deep breath, and then I would add all my stun points to it, which would be plus another 1, plus another, so it's another +3 on top of the roll.
Okay.
So I'll try it again. So it's gonna be the 3d6 plus 7. We'll see.
Hey.
Yeah.
17.
Oh, I
Yeah,
rolled
well done.
dexterity
Ooh.
accidentally, so it's 1 less. So it's 16 again, and then plus another 3.
Yeah, no.
Oh, nice.
So
16,
20
17, 18.
or 19.
19.
19.
Wow, 19 is really good. You could get Darcy with 19. In addition to all.
Can I get them both?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll take them both through.
Yeah.
Come up,
And
like breathing
Nima,
heavily,
Kaia,
gasping.
you have no issue getting across. You're probably already there on the other side with this rye dolphin. As Nikolai, you emerge with Valda and Darcy, who both struggled about equally to get to this opening on the other side. It is a cave. It is lightless. Does anybody have light magic?
Almost
I
took
don't
it.
think so.
I can see in the dark though.
Everything is
Unless
soaked,
with
so we
second
can't light a
sight
torch.
and create dark vision. Second sight, dark vision. I just like second language, no?
All right. Well, this was going to be a lot more impressive, but
I can see in the
Can't
dark,
see
so I
anything.
give a
If anyone
an audio
has
descript
torches, I
version of
can dry
everything.
them for you.
Oh, that's good.
oh,
I don't have
Yeah,
I have
I
a-
would guess that I have a pouch with candles always with me.
ooh, okay.
All right.
Yeah.
So
Go ahead,
I
Nima.
would say that Nima would use another little bit of water shaping just to make sure that the candle is dry enough and that the firestone or whatever you're using to light it is also dry so you can use it.
Yeah. It takes a while, and while this is happening, we won't need to really make a check for it. While this is happening, the dolphin comes to Nikolai. Says, "Hey, so it's come to my attention. People are digging up there. Yeah."
That's happening, yes.
Yeah. Look, our kind have been good to your kind and vice versa for a long time. Many generations. If I'm going to ask one favor, it's going to be this. Get them to stop.
To stop digging.
Yeah. If you
Tell
can.
me, because while I understand that our people go back, I trust you on this. You said there was another who looked like me, or another roamer. Tell me more. Maybe this is important.
Well, I don't know if you could tell by the shape of my fins, but I'm a bit older than you. Quite a lot more world circles, if you know what I mean. But
That I understand.
I don't know, a couple generations ago, your time, not mine. I was friends with, I think it was your grandmother.
Hmm. She has been around, yes.
Yeah. Well, she didn't much talk about this place, but actually, why don't you look for yourself? Right about now, the candles can be lit. They've just dried enough. And as the lights come on, you notice the inside of this cave. So it's an underwater river, essentially, and it opens up to a sort of a platform, a dry bed of rock, but there's a sort of like a tunnel shaped, sort of like the subway, just an opening. And when these lights come on, you notice the walls have been painted, worn by the water and the weather, but there are fragments of what were like Romer frescoes, and just sort of like art etched along the inside of this cave. Yeah, the Romers had been here a long time. Kind of kept it a secret, though, didn't they?
It's beautiful.
Is this what you were looking for?
It's not just a secret, it's been forgotten. These are breathtaking.
I get out my notebook and start. It's like a waterproof notebook, I assume, because otherwise it would be useless for me. And I start drawing and making notes of what I'm seeing around the cave.
What do the paintings depict?
You're not really certain. They're so heavily worn, and there's like a thick layer of dirt, mud, and then so much water damage that uncovering its meaning would take a long time. Arduous study, a lot more light, and then importantly, probably some sort of magic. Now, we still like to use these caves. You see, that was the agreement we had long ago. And if we can help it, maybe you can help honor your ancestors' agreement. Keep this place a secret to Aldis.
Do you know why it needs to be kept secret?
They do crime here, Valda. They do crime.
No,
That's a big part of it, yeah. Yep. It's mostly the crime thing. Yeah.
He's talking about that our ancestors also chose to keep these secret. Specifically this hall. I feel it has so much importance. Don't you feel it, Nikolai?
Red, you knew our grandmother. Did she know of this place?
Yeah, she did. She never spoke of it, really. Wouldn't really acknowledge it. Came to visit once or twice, but... You know, it's a long time ago, but... last I spoke with her, she said she wasn't sure if Romers were ready to hear about it yet.
Well, our hand has been
Way I
forced.
see it.
Aldis people. Aldis people. What do you make of this from your position?
It's the same, I think, question of whether or not you want to claim that land for yourself, or let Aldis claim it. Because if you don't claim it, then they're just gonna dig and they'll find everything. And of course, we don't condone crime. So it's quite difficult, don't you think, Kaia? I don't really know.
I mean,
It
I
is
don't think it's for us to decide, but what I can say is sometimes the truth doesn't need to be said until there are people ready to listen. I never heard of this place from your grandmother, but I believe she had the right reasons for not speaking about it, and perhaps that was to wait until this time now, when perhaps you are willing to listen. Maybe you weren't ready to realize that things were different from what it seemed. I hope you can take this place as your own. But that is up to you.
Can we search around a little bit more? See if there's anything.
Nikolai,
About it.
I actually have a suggestion, if you allow me.
Please.
Why don't we try and create a vision? Try and get from this place. You and me together, with the power of our friends. And see if this is where we were sent.
Nikolai turns to Kaia and Darcy and just asks, is a vision acceptable to the bureaucrats of Aldis?
I'm sure I could make it so.
Then let us try to see if we can uncover the story of this place a little bit more.
I think if we know the most we can, I will have something I can take back to Aldis. Like I say, we're not here to work against you. As long as you're willing to take it, I can do my best to make sure that it's yours.
Is there a center in this room somewhere where I can put down my candle and where we can sit around it in a circle?
Yeah.
Do you want to join in?
Yeah, there's some. No, I'm good.
Are you sure?
Yeah, it's spooky.
Well then, you're free to watch.
Before we do the vision, I'll whisper to Kaia and I'll ask, Kaia, if we don't tell Aldis about everything, but they find out, or won't they be angry having been digging for a while now and been asked to stop? Will they find it suspicious? Maybe they're
some of them might. Some of them might, but it's not right if this is their land. They have to see that. They have to see that it's not fair. They cannot just keep digging it if this is a place. It seems very sacred to the wanderers. I am a little worried about how Aldis will need the wanderers to prove that it's their land.
I think
they're counting on the paperwork.
Yeah, not my cup of tea, but I think they're counting on the Romans to not have anything. So we need to make sure whatever it is that it's foolproof.
I agree, but for now, I just want these two wanderers to be willing to explore it themselves. We'll figure out the minutiae of how to do it, you and I.
True. All right.
I start laying out shells in a circle around the candles that Valda put down.
So,
Should we?
yeah, we engage in the shared vision, yeah?
So Valda just extends her hands on all sides, asks everyone to complete the circle, and then she speaks. Let's combine our spirit hearts, together sewn with sea and stars. Flow gently, little river, flow soft, sweet. We shall flow as one within. Go sweet. That's it. And then hope it will give a vision.
So, you're brought again to the sensation, the sound of digging. But this is a different time. Light breaks above you as dirt falls, turning ethereal before hitting you. Otherwise, you would be covered in dirt. A roamer, a young man, legs outstretched, has realized he only very narrowly avoided falling into a hole. He had been digging through clay and didn't expect the floor to give out, of all things, and looking in, the midday light barely pouring in. This is a memory of the past. He calls down, and dolphins, rye dolphins, respond. You don't know what they said. They said it telepathically to them. So you just hear general dolphin noises, and then the time jumps. You'll see he was explaining to them. He came here to bury something, and once the hole was big enough, he brought down to these dolphins, curious as ever, not one, but 4 wagon wheels, explaining to them that after many, many years of traveling this road, he found this campsite just by the lake to be ideal, and he wanted to live there. It was an act of symbolism that seemed to draw the admiration of these dolphins, who, themselves being very symbolic as awakened creatures. So they set these wheels aside. They buried them in the water and told them that they wouldn't be found again, and no more would this wagon travel. The roamer decided with the hole he would build a well just next to his wagon, and he would call it the Rest. Tired of a life on the road and needing to bury his elders who had passed, he traveled the well. He took the well all the way down to the bottom, scattered their ashes, and settled here to build a family. This would be exactly in accordance with the legend of the Roamer's Rest. However, the gap between the Roamer's Rest being founded and it being lost isn't clear to you. Maybe they got sick. Maybe they moved away. Maybe they lost interest. It doesn't matter. But what matters is, according to this vision, this original roamer did live here, and this would be the original Roamer's Rest. The tradition of scattering remains into the water, it could very well be related to this, long, long ago. As you return from this vision, one question remains. Are the wheels here still?
We gotta
Wheels.
find those wheels.
This could well be
We
the
gotta
proof
find the wheels.
that Aldis
Yeah.
needs.
Yeah.
If you guys decide to claim the land, the wheels are the first things we need to find. And I know you won't feel comfortable digging it back up, but if it's something you want to do, we'll help.
Red,
Are you
have you
okay?
ever seen
I
any
mean,
wheels?
Look, I don't want to be giving you news that you don't like, but I wouldn't say I've seen any wheels anytime soon.
Don't ask Red. Red doesn't know anything.
Look, we got a smuggler's den. This place has been nothing but dust. I've scoped out every inch of this place. If there were a bunch of wheels lying around, I would have seen them.
What are the frescoes, though? The paintings on the walls. I do not
Look, I don't.
understand what their significance is. They look old, older than the vision we share.
I couldn't tell you. Life would be a lot easier for me if I had thumbs, but a smuggler's got a job to do. If you want, least I could do. There's another air pocket further along. Get a drink. Enjoy yourself a little bit. Might as well meet the other dolphins. They'll know you were here anyway.
I walk up to Red and I say, I'm sorry if I was mean. You did really help us a lot, so thank you. Thank you for being patient. Is there anything you need that I could get you?
Honestly, I just need you to forget that this place ever existed. If anybody knew how much pufferfish toxin we're moving through this place, it would be bad.
Okay. I'm gonna give you then a little advice. Try not to, if you want to keep things a secret, try not saying them at all. Yeah, you seem to have a loose lip, so it might help you in the future.
Don't blow your
Can't
hole
be all-
early.
And some earlier warning. Maybe you need to find a different route for bringing in the pufferfish toxin.
Or maybe we can
Look.
arrange something. If we do get the land above, then perhaps we can be friends again.
Listen,
Alliance?
Well,
I
I'm
got two
gonna
things
have
to
to
say. It is
pretend. I'm
safe
gonna have to
and it
pretend
is
I heard none
medicinal,
of this.
but it's also highly lucrative. I welcome you to try it yourself. Come on. In this part, there is air in this part of the river, so you can actually walk along the bank to get to the smuggler's den area, if you wish.
Can we search? Can we just make some sort of search roll to see if
Yeah.
there's any sort of remains that the dolphin who doesn't go up on the bank may not have seen?
Yeah. I mean, would he recognize wheels? Yeah, that's kind of a hard call.
They're this big.
Yeah, we can search.
Wagon wheels are this
Before we
big.
move on.
Yeah, they're
They're
pretty big
huge.
stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm just going to pretend that Valda is temporarily blind from making those visions with those 3 wands.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nikolai, you can search as well. Anybody can search. It's just going to be that perception check.
I'll search.
So 3d6.
Since this place feels significant, I would like to try and use my second sight to see if I can notice any arcana around here.
9.
Ooh,
Yeah, second sight.
Yeah, so
some good rolls.
honestly, you don't find anything. It's all ash and dust and just nothing, which makes sense. I mean, this stuff would have rotted away, save for like metal. But you found fittings. I mean,
Oh,
I
have
think
no
the
idea.
real
second.
question.
Do we have much light? Because I have fire shaping, right?
I believe
Oh,
we
yeah,
have
I mean, you
loads
could
of
use that
mental
for
health
helps.
now.
For light.
Yeah.
Completely
Go ahead,
forgot.
Nikolai.
Nikolai was going to move close to Valda and just say, it sounds like we have a dilemma. This is, without a doubt, this is from our people. And at the same time, this person or this clan, this family decided to stop roaming, to take the wheels off their wagon in a literal sense. What does that mean for us? Are they still of our people? Some would say no, but clearly they left their mark on the walls here. And they left remains above.
Were they the ones who leave the marks? Or was that the reason why they stayed to protect this site?
Well, you know, the stories go back so far. Back to when we were one caravan, and even before we were a caravan at all.
You know, brother, one of us is meant to lead the clan. Maybe that's it.
The others
It's a
stayed.
choice. One goes, the other travels, and the other stays. To create the Romus rest, where Romus can rest and always have a place within Aldis. And we will not be pushed to the outskirts further and further away from what is very much a site that's sacred to us.
I just
Those are
realized
important words.
something.
Yes.
Valda, you mentioned it almost looked like Nikolai decorated the place of our vision. What if he did?
So the dolphin is going to continue. You guys coming or what?
Yeah.
We are,
I'll paddle along.
yes.
The least I can do is implicate you on this contraband. That might be our only
So-
security.
Is that the
I
Aldis
can't
police?
talk much about that.
Yes.
Oh no! Get out! The police!
Yeah, so
They got
This
It's
us!
just a bunch
underground
of
river.
fish with an alarm
Yeah.
it bends,
on
and when it bends, you get a faint light. And the further you go, you realize that there actually is a dim light over in that direction, just not this initial opening. So you follow it along. It sort of reminds you of a sewer, but it's natural. And it might even be carved out a little bit. But all right, right this way. You're almost there. And then it just sort of opens up into this big chamber. It would be about waist deep water everywhere you stand, and in it, cages on the inside filled with puffer fishes. And then above water, there are shelves filled with other, like, contraband, anything that could be smuggled, usually put up on these crates. Other dolphins are swimming about, doing their work, putting pufferfish in these, like, cages where they swim around before they're harvested for their toxin.
That is terrible.
See,
why would you cage an animal that is meant to roam free? How could you do that as an animal yourself? I thought rai animals were awakened. You're narrow.
I mean, would Aldis do any different? And you know, for one, they don't really mind us that much. They only sting when they feel threatened. We got something of an agreement, though. We let them out when they want out. Think of it like a doghouse. And in turn, they give us.
A doghouse doesn't have a door that is always closed.
She has a point.
Why don't you open all these cage doors and see if they like their cages so much they stay? Prove it to me.
Darcy just swimming around in this. Baby steps. You know, we've been doing this for a long time, but maybe it is time to change.
Doing
I'm
something
sorry you couldn't find
wrong for a long time is no reason to keep doing it.
Sort of looks at you. That would be the philosophy that causes a roamer to settle down, wouldn't it?
It would be, yes. But that would also mean that a roamer would think it's wrong to roam.
Sorry you couldn't find what you were looking for.
I think I found it.
Valda and Nikolai, you both noticed something, if maybe at the same time. I told you that this place was dimly lit, and it's lit by a series of candles fastened to the ceiling. These candles are held up by chandeliers. And when you look up, you realize that it would only be a dolphin that wouldn't recognize these chandeliers to be repurposed wagon wheels.
Valda, it's the
as they hang,
wagon
they each hold
wheels.
about a dozen candles that illuminate this room.
No way.
Oh.
Oh, good. No.
This is appropriation. This is taking Romer things and appropriating it. It's a wheel. It's not a fucking chandelier. Whose idea was this?
I must say.
Oh. Red turns. Eddie, you messed up. Those were what you were looking for? Yeah, we've had those for a long time. Yeah, no, absolutely. Wow, I thought you wanted a wheel. Dolphin just sort of looks up. Damn, it is a wheel, isn't it? Wow, yeah. No, yeah, your sacred artifacts are here. They've been here this whole time, as long as I can remember. Congratulations, you won.
I must say, I think it's very fitting too. They light the way.
Huh. Poetic, isn't it?
It is, Nikolai, isn't it? And I believe if we think back on that vision, that shared one dream that we had, I can remember some chandeliers there as well.
Yes, it's curious. Very curious.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder where the designer of that place got the idea.
Yes, me too.
It looks more a form over function over form, though. They probably just thought it was usable, so they attached it.
It's
Oh, yeah, I see.
exactly what people feel about the land that
So-
we are
That too.
debating about.
Yeah.
Kaia, Darcy, you were sent on this mission with one task, and that was to determine whether or not roamers had a stake to this place, right?
Mm-hmm.
The final decision we make before we close for tonight. These wheels, do we take them as evidence now? Bring them to the city, and set this down as official roamer land?
Well, Darcy's thinking back to when they were back on top of ground, and Marius, I think, had that the metal thing that he asked Nikolai to look at, right? And it was similar, right? I'm just thinking, like, we don't have to take it down, because that would also be evidence, wouldn't it? Or would we take down the wheel?
I think the wheels are being taken down regardless. Okay. But what they stand to mean that there's tangible proof that this is where the roamers rested, and a permanent fixture.
Well,
now
I am more than ready to take them back, but I mean, I don't think I can make the final decision on that. Nikolai, Valda, and Nima, as a wanderer also, even if you've just joined. What do you want?
We'll help as much as we can, but you guys will be bearing the weight of the responsibility, I guess, if it's not.
Yeah.
Well, it's more
so we'll say...
we can give the land to do with as you wish. And, you know, for me, I always found it interesting that the wanderers were always spoken about as if they were always moving, always changing. And yet they were one of the most constant things in my life. You know, you always knew where there would be a place to rest, to be surrounded by other roamers. I do not think there being a place that collectively you can share to rest means giving up being a roamer. But obviously that is just for me.
Being a roamer sounds more like a mentality. You could bring it anywhere. So even if you are just in one place, your mind could be traveling, right?
Maybe
you can help
that
others
is
to
the
travel.
solution.
Yeah.
And you help others to travel. I would not have seen hardly any of this world were I not around. And Nima, I can see from the book that you filled how much you have learned about the world by being by the side of these.
Yeah. I guess
can take
it's
this
a
back,
question
Darcy,
of...
and I can... Go ahead.
I guess it's the question if they are ready for it. I mean, the others...
You could give them the choice. If they choose to settle, they can settle. If they choose not to, they can go.
Or maybe that is why we had a dream of a tavern, not of a home. Nikolai, Maybe we're not meant to live here and settle. We're meant to protect this. And maybe not one of us needs to stay. This is why we were meant to be born as twins. The sun and the moon. The sun is not in the sky the whole day and the night. Maybe we have to exchange each other. 1 year day and 1 year night. And when you have roamed the world, you come and rest. And I take our clan and show them the night.
Valda, this is a beautiful idea, except for the one detail. You are my sister. I would
It would mean
be giving up to travel with you.
forever, yes. We would not see each other anymore. Only during sunset. 1 night a year. Maybe longer.
I feel like my heart.
Or
is
maybe we
breaking
could
already.
share the burden.
You can
Or the joy.
hire people.
Unless it's your destiny.
I think it is.
We could hire people, a manager for the bar. This is perhaps. But the symbol of
think-
it.
Yes.
Well, let's take this back up to this dig site, and then of course we have to take it to our clan.
And of course, you have to decorate the bar. And I believe where we can get the money from. Little bit of an extortion goes a long way. Well, it wouldn't be extortion, of course. It would be dealing
Suggestion.
business
Business
under our
partnership.
land. Very much.
Perhaps
Extortion.
if you don't wish to
Rent.
begin, perhaps if you don't wish to begin your relationship with your new neighbors quite so antagonistically, I could inquire about the funds that Aldis has to make sure that we represent all the different communities that come through here. But
Oh, a
of course,
legitimate route.
if you
No one
wish.
thought of that.
But I would say that our neighbors down below, they need to stop caging animals. That is one thing that I am very, very fervent about. No soul should ever be captured.
Hey,
agree on
we
that
can go
one.
free range. No extortion needed. All right.
Free range pufferfish.
That's funny.
Every
That's
time
dangerous.
someone walks in, it's just one big spiky ball pit because everyone goes like. Sorry, I
So-
just had this vision.
Perhaps with the
Seems like
tavern
we're
as
settled
well.
then.
You can have. It's actually a way to share roaming. You can have people from Aldis. People that might have stayed put forever. Maybe can be encouraged to roam.
I love it. It is a good thing.
In which case.
So should we, start
We should
working on getting
get
those
the-
things down?
Mm-hmm. Don't
Yes.
let him know I said, but Mirius is incredibly impatient. And he will have had twitchy fingers. Continue digging if we are not quick.
Well, you know,
Fact.
he could be at least giving a head start on the foundations of the place, so no harm in that.
And then
This
Darcy's
would make a
gonna
good basement.
flip. She's gonna try and get up to the chandelier. Can I?
All right.
Am I in the water or am I on like a thing?
you're in the water. There's not a lot of places to like. You could get up on a shelf and then use it to get to another shelf and then hop
Yeah.
onto the chandelier.
Yeah, like
But
how.
it seems, yeah, it seems like we all agree on what the best choice is. So we're gonna skip the part where Darcy causes a bunch of calamity by knocking over half of the smuggler's contents,
Like a true
or
cat.
sending
Yeah.
a cascade of melting candles onto these dolphins. So
And all the
Just
pufferfish.
hiss at
I
the
think-
pufferfish. Yeah.
One of the candles just
true.
accidentally falls into a blowhole and then goes like.
Yeah, exploding dolphins. But I think with that, with everybody unified on what to do here, we keep this basement a secret. Nikolai is set upon creating the Roamer's Rest, and thus is the story of how the Roamer's Rest is born. And I think that's where we will end off for tonight. So, well done. Well done. Very touching. Very sweet.
Thank you so much,
Um,
Ian. This was a blast.
Yeah.
I almost
It was.
almost
Thank you,
cried
everyone.
when you guys were like the brother and sister like not being able to see each
yeah.
other. I was like, oh, we can't do that.
So wholesome.
We just hire
That's right.
managers, dude.
I love that.
Yeah, I look. Darcy's. Yeah, yeah. I have a note on that. But let's go around and do our outros, and then we'll raid somebody here before we get to too late for that hemisphere. Jacob, you gave us a very very gripping story about a hard choice to make as a roamer. Well done.
Yeah. Thank you. What would you like for an outro? Any sort of anything, any question you want me to answer, or any thought to ponder?
What is Nikolai's first move here? Also, where we can find you and stuff.
Yeah. Nikolai's first move. I think he has the idea in his head that he's just gonna roll his wagon right into this dig site and take the wheels off of it, and then start serving drinks out of it to start the first tavern, bar. And that's his idea.
I love that.
How well it goes over with Valda and the rest of the family, unknown as of yet. Thank you so much for this. I felt Nikolai was a beautiful character to play. I'm Jacob, and you can find me watermosaic on Twitter and on Instagram, and hopefully I'll be back soon.
Of course. Next, Valda, equally involved in the pivotal decision towards the end here. The should I stay or should I go? Yeah, we voted remain, apparently, and the roamers are in Aldis. So, what is Valda's first move here?
Well, she's going to have some stern conversations with Nikolai that those wheels shouldn't be off his wagon forever, and we should switch occasionally. She doesn't want to take her wheels off yet. And she also feels that she's not strong enough to oppose Simon as of yet. So we need to be front. But Valda is also going to investigate those paintings and see what she means. What they mean. Because the pull for arcane is very strong in her. And yeah, that would be it. You've noticed that Valda is a little bit the knight of Nikolai's sunshine.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really enjoyed playing her. She was really fun. And yeah, so I'm the dungeonmadame, together with the other dungeonmadame, which is Najadem, my best friend. And if you enjoyed seeing me bumbling around, I also DM a Taldore campaign on Dire Rolls on Twitch. So you can watch me DM if that's interesting.
Yeah. And if we want to see Roamer's Rest as a map,
yeah,
that's a thing.
yeah. Me and Najadem actually created the Roamer's Rest map, and we're still in the process of creating the dungeon in the basement. That still needs to be done. So I think if we have enough subscribers and retweets, something was going to be written and made or something like that. So yeah. And I really enjoy playing here, so thanks. I'm just gonna ramble even more, but I'll shut up.
I will bring in the other half of dungeonmadames
Yeah.
if I have the right hotkey, and I do.
Yes. I believe Nima would be right beside Valda as she is exploring these beautiful paintings. She would definitely try to unravel any secret that they may hold, or just trying to piece together the beautiful picture that they once depicted on this wall. I guess she would also be helping in her spare time, helping out Nikolai a bit, getting ready to sell some booze. I think she would like that.
Yeah.
Well, and as for
And
me,
where can we...
yeah, you can find us on Patreon at patreon.com/tdungeonmadams. I think that would also be the easiest place to contact us. I do have Twitter, it's at Najadem, but I'm not really big on Twitter, don't use it that much. So that would probably be the best way to find us. And I also run a campaign on die rolls. The other one next to the Taldore campaign, we also have a Ghost of Saltmarsh campaign. So yeah, come check us out if you'd like. It's twitch.tv/die rolls.
Beautiful.
So I guess that's all the self-promo I have to do for today.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for bringing us into this story.
Yeah, no, of course. This was a one shot, many months in the making. I'm always happy to do it. I'm curious what Kaia does and their involvement with the city, keeping this under wraps, though. Gotta say.
So I think immediately she'll work on, getting all the boring stuff of paperwork done and making sure it is officially the Romer's and Nikolai's. But I actually think that once all of that is done, after decades of working in Alda, Kaia is actually going to go and travel again. Because many, many years ago, obviously with their grandmother, she made the decision to stop and settle down for a while. And this was very personal to her. And actually with all of this, feels like she has had, it is time to return to the night, and she's going to go and travel again.
Well, if it's time to return to the night, you can join me.
Yeah. Yeah. She might perhaps do that. Yeah. Especially now, obviously, when Mother has passed. Now it's time for them to switch around as well. So, yeah. That's what she's realised with this. As for me, find me on Twitter and Instagram as zwethbee, or here on Twitch as Zweth. Again, I'm on a bit of a hiatus at the moment, but do join every other Thursday. We do designs, dungeon designs. We're doing a bard dungeon at the moment with a big skeleton that reacts to sound, which is quite cool. And I'm also not on any currently, but you can find me on various different RP shows. If you are already here on Weave the Tale and you want to head over to the YouTube, I'm in the Paradise City Mutants and Masterminds game. And you can find me on Valdamerca's channel as well, we've got season 3 of something coming up to be announced soon. But yeah, follow me on Twitch. That's probably the best place to keep up to date.
Right. Last, of course, but not least,
Hi.
Wilding.
Oh, this was so fun. Okay, so Darcy, I was thinking about this. Darcy's helping out with the bar, and after hearing that Kaia is gonna quit her job, Darcy's never set foot outside of like the immediate area of Aldis, so she is also gonna take a little hiatus and she's gonna travel as well. But she'll help out at the bar first, and yeah, I think at some point they'll just all kind of make their travels and it'll be fun, and she'll cause more chaos, but in like a good-hearted way, so it's all good. And yeah, in terms of me, I'm Kassa, wilding underscore on Twitter, wilding underscore Twitch on Twitch, obviously, and I write, I create as much as I can and try to record and keep track of what I'm doing. So yeah, Weave the Tale is great. I'm so happy to always be invited to these games. They're so fun. It was like a dream. Yeah, a shared vision, a shared dream, but for 4 or 5 hours, and I'm a bit hungry, but that's okay. Yeah.
Delightful. I'm Ian. I have been the narrator here. Be sure to follow if you enjoy Weave the Tale and you like the stories that we tell. But this is the final episode of the season, so I don't have anything to rep. I know we're back about this time next week, so like 7 or 8 p.m. Eastern time. So if it's in the UK, it's in the middle of the night. Don't worry about it. Catch the VOD or something like that. But that's about it for me. This has been such a delight. I have never anticipated a one-shot for so long. I started planning this one in like December or something, so it was really cool to finally like see it put to light. I've never had so much time to think on a one-shot, and the symbolism was incredible. This is exactly what I picture when I think of romantic fantasy. But that's me. I'm at IanVJames on Twitter if you want to talk about Pathfinder or other games similar to it. But I dig Blue Rose as well, so if you have questions about that, feel free to ask. That's all I have for tonight, though. So thank you all so much for watching, and good night.